Operation Confidence proudly presents America's Invisible Heroes radio talk show. Tune in weekly on Sundays, 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific Time, with your hosts, Consuelo Mackey, U.S. Army veteran and co-host Matt Davison, announcer Taylor Marcella, and Brooke Gadesi, U.S. Army veteran and entertainment segment host Charles Whitehead, Veterans and Legal segment host, attorney Danielle Sherrod, U.S. Army Veterans and Lifeline for Women Veterans segment host Martha Elena Varela, Veterans in Recovery host Anthony Akinpora, and U.S. Air Force veteran and Incarceration to Success segment host Kevin Lewandowski. For more information or to be a guest on our show, email info@operationconfidence.org.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to America's Invisible Heroes. Yes, I'm your host, Consuelo Mackey, longtime hairstylist, fashion designer, and the executive director of a grassroots nonprofit organization for veterans called Operation Confidence. I'm not a veteran, but my heart goes out to our American heroes, especially those who are disabled and may have experienced homelessness. For those who are new to the show, the American Invisible Heroes strives to provide a platform for our veterans to be able to share their experiences, heartfelt stories, resources, challenges, and accomplishments. Now, I'd like to introduce you to our wonderful co-host for today. It's an all-girls show today. So we have Brooke Gadesi. She's our board member and announcer. We have Taylor Marcella. She's a board member and also an announcer. U.S. Army veteran Martha Varela. She's on our advisory board, and she has a segment called Lifeline for Women Veterans. And then we have Darcy Dijon. She has a monthly segment called Make Music LA. Welcome to you all. And oh, by the way, Charles is attending a fundraiser for Paralyzed Veterans of America today. And our lovely Matt, he'll be back next week. So anyway, we're on our way, and say hello to everyone, to our wonderful listeners and viewers.
Hi.
Say hello. Did everybody say hello?
Hi.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. But anyway, we're going to move right on with the show. And I want Brooke, you take it away from here.
You got it, Connie. We all know that a service dog can provide tremendous support to a veteran, but we also know that owning a dog can come with tremendous expenses, especially if the animal becomes sick or injured. To help veterans offset some of these expenses and make owning a service dog more affordable, I'm excited to share with you a resource for no-cost veterinary care. This may help make having a service dog that much easier for those who truly need one. Trupanion is honored to work with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs to help veterans receive veterinary care for their approved service dogs. They work in tandem with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs to assist veterans and their service dogs. Veterans may take their approved service dogs to any veterinarian in the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico, and Trupanion will pay all eligible expenses, including checkups, medical care, and emergency. This is how it works. The VA determines eligibility. The VA has sole control over determining the eligibility of veterans and their service dogs. Once approved, the VA provides the veteran and service dog information to Trupanion to enroll them. All the information is kept confidential. Trupanion administers the program, enrolls the service dogs in the program, provides veterans with information about how the program works, and pays the veterinary bills for all eligible expenses. They have no control over who's approved. Veterinarians provide expert health care to eligible service dogs. Once the appointment is over, the clinic just needs to fax the cover sheet with a finalized invoice, and Trupanion will pay 100% of all coverable expenses within 48 hours of receiving the notice, the invoice. Trupanion is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Give them a call at 888-733-2685. The number again, 888-733-2685. You can also email them at info@truepanion.com.
Okay, that was great information. Those service dogs are very important. I see Michael has a precious little dog. That's your service dog, Michael? You're muted, but that's okay, long as you hear me. Okay, so now, Taylor, I want you to take it away, my girlfriend.
Yes, Connie. Ms. Dorsey DeJean is the executive director of Make Music LA, a worldwide celebration of music and its power to bring communities together. Ms. Dorsey's guest today is Vietnam Air Force California National Guard veteran Michael Whitehouse Avalos. Mr. Avalos is a member of the Elder of the Tongva indigenous peoples in California from Los Angeles Basin to the Channel Island, an area covering more than 4,000 square miles. Take it away, Ms. Dorsey.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a pleasure to be back again this month. Last time I was here, we talked about Make Music LA. And one of the performances at Make Music LA was our special guest today, and that is Mr. Michael Whitehorse Avalos. I'm so happy to have Michael here today, and he's brought with him a dear friend and colleague, Jennifer Young, and the two of them have produced some incredible music. But first, I'd like to let Michael talk to you a little bit about his background and then a little bit about the music that we're going to hear. We're actually going to hear some live music today.
Whoa, really?
Yes, and they have been working together for quite a while, and their music is very special indeed. And especially since what we've been going through as a world, actually, with the pandemic and needing to heal. All of us have been in an abusive relationship for more than 4 years, and then we got the pandemic. So even though we're trying to find our sort of semblance of whatever that new normal might be, we still have a lot of healing to do, and getting in touch with ourselves. And the music that we'll hear today, I think, is reflective of how we can do that. Michael, it's so good to see you. Please say hello to everyone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
So tell us, Michael, a little bit about you, yourself, and the music that we'll be hearing.
Okay. The music you're going to hear is a collaboration between Jennifer and myself, and it's based on my flute music, and we added a few things into the music that you'll be hearing. This piece we'll be doing is called Beginning in Raven. It's something that Jennifer composed, and yeah, you've been doing this for quite a while now, back over the years.
You know, what's really fascinating about the two of you is that both of you have traveled in the music scene a worldwide, rock and roll, R&B. You were with War. Jennifer, you've done the rock thing, and you're an engineer and composer. I mean, this is a dynamic duo we have here.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Nice.
So when did you two start working on this project?
Go ahead.
Good, what, 5 years ago?
About 5 years now.
Wow.
We just released a CD, and it's been a journey about that long, with back and forth. And Jennifer introduced me to the Conscious Live Expo, which is every year, where I started playing with her and introducing my music, my flute music, native flute music. And we've been collaborating ever since. This is like 2015.
Michael, tell everyone about your music and the sounds that we'll hear, and about your flute in particular.
Well, the flute, again, a lot of people know it as a native. There's different flutes all over the world, but this particular one we call Native American flute, And I was telling Jennifer its origins way back in the day when it was first ever made. It was a serenading tool for the young man to serenade his future wife or something, you know. But I used it. I've been playing this for 23 years, and I just kind of, with Jennifer's help, pushed it up a notch with jazz and everything else. You know, I just don't. My flute isn't a regular flute anymore. I do with I play with a lot of different people, and I just, you know, like I say, jazz it up. You heard in the park what we did with those two gentlemen that I played with, and so it's a collaboration of her instruments and her knowledge, her music with mine, and it just turned out to be something great, you know.
Jennifer, tell us a little bit about your background.
I studied classical violin, and I went on tour with my husband at the time, and that was in 99, 2000, 2001. We went to Portugal and toured with a big rock band, a Portuguese rock band there, and that's where I started learning guitar, and I learned guitar backwards. I learned bar chords first because I was literally playing the role of a rock star, and we had collaborated with a script writer. This guy had written a script called Karma Chameleons, this character, and so we did that, and I just had to learn how to be a rock star. So, you know, I just learned bar chords first, and then taught myself first position in music theory on guitar later. So, you know, but I truly believe that when you're a musician, instruments are just that, they're instruments. And, you know, you learn music and you can hear notes, and you should be able to go to any instrument and find that note and find a scale and be able to make some music out of anything. So, you know, I play banjo now, and violin and guitar and piano, and I don't know if you can see our little setup, but we have a little recording studio here at the house. So we did a lot of the recording right here in this very room with these acoustics.
Well, it seems today that being an artist, you can't just do one thing. You've got to do so many. And between the two of you, I mean, Michael, you are also a fine artist. You're a historian, a storyteller, and which I really wish we had more time to hear a great many of the stories about your background and the history of this area, because I think the audiences would really love to hear that. Can you just give us a little snippet of your heritage?
I am okay. My name is Michael Whitehorse. Whitehorse is a family name from way back in the day. Our people have been on this land that we're sitting on, which is Los Angeles County, Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange County, San Nicolas Island, San Clemente Island, Santa Catalina Island, which we call Pimuna, from Pepperdine to Laguna Niguel, all the way to the San Bernardinos and the San Gabriel Mountains. This land has been occupied by my ancestors for over 10,000 years. And we're still here. The name of the tribe is Tongva, Tongva, which means earth. We consider it, when we say Tongva, Tongvanat, we say place of the earth where we came from, or we call ourselves people of the earth. And we are a group out of the San Gabriel Mission, which people call us Gabrielinos, but we are still here. We're all over Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Riverside, Orange County, and the culture still is living, the language is still alive, and ceremonies and everything that we still do. So the Tonga people are here, and I've been asked, people actually thought we were extinct. We no longer live here anymore, only because we live in houses now and we acclimated to the atmosphere, to the environment. So yeah, we're still here. We're from, the title is Gabrielino Tonga San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians. And we are known as Mission Indians in California. My ancestry is from the missions that are trail all the way through California today. So that's basically who we are.
Michael, how does your background and history affect your music?
When I play, even in my art, my fine art, when I paint, it just it's a part of me that comes out. I just don't think, oh, what am I going to do today? No, it just, when I play, and if you heard me play, when I'm on stage or playing my flutes, the sound that comes out of me is what I'm feeling, but I don't even think about it. It just comes out. And the pride and the love and the respect I have for my ancestors and for the tribe and for the language and for the traditions reflects in my music. And so they're tied together.
I just want to ask you one thing, or for you to just tell the audience one thing. We just ended the centennial celebration of the women's movement and the 19th Amendment. And we have such a different view of, or as Americans, such a different view of women in our lives. Can you tell us how Native women are respected?
Well, women in general, basically, it could be any background of a woman to us, to the tribe, to the men, are very sacred because we call them the life givers. They're very highly respected. Myself, I can only speak for myself. When I was raised, my dad raised me never to disrespect a woman, never to expect her to do everything for you, never to lay a hand on her and everything, and be a gentleman and respect the lady that, or if you're married or if you have a girlfriend or you know somebody, always have that respect toward them, because I, as a man, realize that women go through more than we think about, that men think about physically and everything else. And just to give you an example, my mother is going to be 101 years old this year.
Wow. God bless.
And my brothers and I take care of her. We hire a caretaker to help take care of her. The thought of putting her in a home just made us mad. We didn't want to do that. We weren't going to do that. She's living in the home that we were raised in as boys. I believe that we prolonged her life by doing for her what she did for us when we were little. It's just a turnaround. It's just a giving back in life to the circle, full circle. And this is how we feel about, the respect we have for women. And, I can't speak for all guys. I mean, Native men are human beings. They make mistakes. They do stupid things. But personally, I have a very high respect and regard for women and ladies that I hold up high because, like I said, they're the life givers. And
I really appreciate what you're saying and how you appreciate women. And I would love to hear more, but we have other people waiting and then we want to hear your music. So if you could give us the honor.
Okay. So what we're going to do right now is a song that's on our CD. It's called Beginning, and then we'll go into a melody called Raven and see where it goes.
So tell me something. Are you playing one song or two? Because
actually it goes one into the other. It's just like one song, continuous song.
Okay.
Maybe we should hold on that.
Let's say about 4 minutes.
Is that too long? 4 minutes?
That's a little bit long, yeah, because we have others that are on the phone. We have to leave off at a certain time. But whatever you could do within, you know, to show us your talent, I sure appreciate it. We're excited to hear.
What is the beginning then? Ready?
That's wonderful, beautiful. That was the first time we heard such a beautiful piece. Thank you. Yay. Very nice. Thank you so much. We want you to come back again.
That's
And
the
be,
first time we played it live.
huh?
It's the first time we played it live for anybody.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That sounds great. Well, I'm sorry to have to rush you, but we
mention that the Conscious Life Expo that we came together for is at the LAX Hilton September 17th, 18th, and 19th, and Michael and I will be running the main stage in the lobby. We'll be playing, as well as many other really fabulous, talented musicians. So the Conscious Life Expo, LAX Hilton at the 17th, 18th, 19th.
Okay, well, great. Congratulations and continue the wonderful work that you're doing. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Martha, it's on you, girlfriend. Well, let's let Brooke do the announcing and we'll go from there.
Okay.
U.S. Army veteran Martha Elena Varela has a segment entitled Lifeline for Women's Veterans, and her guest today is Carol Dennis Dillon, who is advocating for her childhood friend, Michael Rogers. Before I introduce Michael, I'd like to introduce Carol, who is the ex-wife of recording artist Bob Dylan. Having grown up in a gospel music family, Carol had a passion for theater and music from an early age and decided to pursue a career in the arts. She's traveled all over the world and recorded with artists such as Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, Stevie Wonder, Pastor Andre Crouch, Michael Jackson, and many others, and has been part of several Broadway musicals. She was last seen on Broadway in the original production of Oprah Winfrey's The Color Purple. Her friend Michael, the son of a pastor, was born in Los Angeles and grew up in the church. He graduated from George Washington High School and shortly after joined the U.S. Army in 1970. He served as the only Black doula and chaplain at Rivington House in New York City, helping people suffering from terminal illness find peaceful days through faith as they transitioned. He started a heartfelt project as an outreach through the church called Saints in the Hood, which connects young people with the elderly in the surrounding community to assist them, in addition to finding self-esteem through music programs by encouraging songwriting, poetry, vocal lessons, and choral singing. During Army basic training, Michael was badly beaten and mentally tormented by his superiors. He has been homeless for several years and has been fighting for his benefits through the VA. Take it away, Martha.
Thank you, Brooke. And thank you, everyone. I didn't get a chance to say thank you to the musician. I think he just left. But what a nice piece, wasn't that? I'm traveling this weekend for Labor Day weekend. So I'm here enjoying the beautiful scenery in Minnesota, and an eagle flew by a little bit before us. So I'm on the whole spiritual, beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for that wonderful introduction. And I'm glad they could join us. It's a change, I think, too, that is awesome. Anytime when we can open with music or the arts, or just to, get some of that spiritual piece to that. So thank you guys for that. Yes, and so I am here today to have a great interview with Michael and Carol. Thank you both for contacting Connie. For those of you who may not know, we are going to try to assist Michael with connecting to housing. He has one of those wonderful HUD-VASH vouchers that you've heard me talk about in the previous shows. And so what he needs now is a connector. And so in this line of work, I have often found out that, many veterans kind of who get to that wonderful point, although I'm sure for Michael, he can agree to say it was very frustrating and sometimes it's confusing, right? Not understanding like what happens next in the process. So we're here to support Michael and help him connect to a veteran community housing project. And those are also a very valuable resource in the community for many of the elderly veterans like Michael and others who are looking to find housing in a veteran community. They offer supportive services and outings, kind of that case management that so many of our veterans need. So really excited. Thank you both, Carol and Michael, for reaching out to us.
Thank you. You have some information, Martha, that Michael had presented that we were going to share. Remember that?
Yes, I did. I had a chance to read over it. Michael, is Michael
you have
there?
Some questions that you want to ask them in there.
Sure.
Michael, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you.
One thing before Michael starts, I just want to thank you so much for jumping right on this. When we had spoken, when I had the opportunity, Carol had put me on the phone to speak with Michael. Ironically, your staff was there to assist him at that very moment. Wasn't that great? So they were busy assisting him and trying to help him. So we got right on that. I mean, you moved right on it. And I want to thank you, Martha. That was absolutely wonderful.
Yes. Thank you, Martha, so much for
thank you, Carol,
that you've been doing for Michael. I love people that do what they say and say what they mean. And you jumped on it so quickly, along with Mr. James White, that it's been a little astounding for us and for Michael. He's like, they're here already.
Well, we want to thank my colleague, Carmen, for the introduction, for which I was able to get you over to Martha, who I knew was going to jump right on it.
Praise God. I'm
so
Amen.
Carol, why
Yes,
don't you share? I mean, I know that Martha's gonna extensively talk to you, but can you share
yeah,
the
Carol, share a little bit about your connection to Michael and how you guys have, you know each other, you got kind of an interesting story, but yeah, you're also in this space of helping connect veterans. So tell us a little bit about who you are.
Before we go on, there's some background noise somewhere. Someone, please turn off your, please mute yourself. I'm hearing something. But anyway, let's go from there.
Hi. Well, I met Michael at 10 years old, and
Really?
through a neighbor of mine, and it was very interesting. But we met at the age of 10, and then we reconnected when I was about 14 years old. I ended up going to a summer school at the high school he graduated from, and saw him walking across the campus and thought I was going to faint, because at 10 years old, I was just taken by him as a human being. I thought he was amazing. I was really taken by him. I had grown up in a family where I had, it was a gospel family, but the opposite side of this was there was a person married into our family who had problems with children. And so I had a kind of sad childhood on one level. I thank God for the church, thank God for my family. But Michael entered my life at a time when my self esteem was just almost destroyed. And I went to visit this close friend of mine that had moved to the Inglewood area, and they would have me come over for weekends. And she kept talking about this guy, Michael Rogers, and what a reputation he had built in the community, and what a great guy he was, and all the girls loved him, and this and that. And I ended up going to the movies with her that weekend, and I ended up meeting this famous guy, Michael Rogers. And
Whoa.
he came to visit her house a couple of days later, and they were teasing me. I think she has a crush on Michael. Oh, they went through this whole thing. They jeered at me and laughed at me. And he came into the house. He greeted every one of them. And because my self-esteem was so low, I retreated to a closet near the closet in the back bedroom. And he comes all the way through the house, and he goes, "Where's your little cousin? Where's that chocolate girl? Where's that pretty little girl?" And he walked in and he said, "There she is, that pretty little chocolate girl." And my heart just went off. Someone had finally endorsed me that I was worth something, I was valuable,
Wow.
and my heart went to him. And God has given us a great friendship over the last 50 years. We've gone
Really?
marriages to other people, had children with other people. We've had an amazing life, but for some reason, God granted us a lifelong friendship that I cherish very much.
And you were the one who reached out to me on his behalf, which was very touching, your story.
Yes, ma'am. Just seeing
He's
him.
very fortunate to have a friend like you.
That's right. That's right.
You. I was fortunate to have a friend like him, because he ran into the face of the person who had caused me such mental torment most of my life and scared the heebie-jeebies out of him.
Oh, really? Okay.
So he was always my hero. And so
Right.
I'm honored to do anything that would help his life and his days be better on earth. He means everything to me.
Well, Martha, you gonna take it away?
Yeah, go ahead. So Michael, tell us a little bit about who you are. Kind of, I'm so interested to hear so much about you. But tell us a little bit about where you grew up and kind of how life was like for you when you were a youngster.
Yeah, I have to take a minute to breathe. Carol kind of touched me there. She is the love of my life. And it was a 58 years, not 50.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but I was born in 1951 in Los Angeles. Those old enough to know can understand that all the black people at that time lived on the east side. It was everywhere was where black people lived was considered what, and you couldn't be across Main Street. No, you couldn't live west of a Main Street because it was segregated. Coming up in these circumstances, before civil rights, made life different. You call it some would call it a bad life, but it was the life I knew. And there was much happiness while at the same time much suffering, just as it is now. But being raised by a pastor, I am a preacher's kid. Some of you know what that implies. I think sometimes I think misfortune and then sometimes fortune to experience both sides of the street, Christians and crooks, Christians and musicians. Some would say, call this a ghetto upbringing. But for me, I didn't know everywhere was the ghetto. So Christians have not much changed over the years. Some labels maybe, but I have always been resistant to mining people. I think a lot of black people were raised, unfortunately, with somewhat of a slave mentality. And ignorance is the excuse. But the eradication of that ignorance it comes late for many. And you can't set aside the roots and the despair of a systemically racist society. That is my view, but I have a many perspectives. I am not. I have no one to blame for lies, but in order to eradicate ignorance, we have to share our realities. Common sense isn't common until you share the sense with somebody. So we take for granted our realities. You need to know my truth. I need to know your truth in order to arrive at the truth. And the deeper the truth, since God is love, life, and truth, the more of the truth you know, the more of God you come to know.
That's right.
So this reality for me structured my life. I've been to prison for 14 years. I've been a drug addict. I've been a pimp. I've been, let me go another way. Once in prison, I prayed to God. My mother had passed, and I asked God, why, Lord, does all of this happen to me? And I fell asleep. But in the dream I had, God said to me, so that you will know. And I wondered for years, what does that mean? So that you would know. Some years later, I heard God tell me that wisdom was the knowledge applied, and that all of my errors, all of my woes were lessons, and the blessings that come with the lesson, it comes when the lesson is applied. Okay, knowledge left unapplied, you still remain in ignorance, and ignorance is the root cause of all our woes in the world today. At least that is what I believe. I do not follow, I lead, because I came in the world by myself. That is how I'm going to lead. I believe
Michael, but tell me something. Michael,
Yes,
were you in the army or the military? Did you have a?
yes. I get a little confused off track sometimes. But yes, I was in the military. It was not a good experience for me because
Were you in the? What were you in the army or where were you?
I was in the army. I joined. I went in. And they gave me all kinds of examinations. They said I was perfect, 1A. I got there. I excelled in everything. Because back then we couldn't go to college, was not an option in my family. We went to the military traditionally to get education. So after high school, I joined with a contract to get education. However, after no errors, no problems, and nothing, all of a sudden I find myself in a situation where I was attacked by an NCO. I know that that is against the rules at all times, but he was allowed to beat me while officer watched, and I was not able to defend myself for a while. When I became able to defend, then the captain started saying, stand at attention, at ease, and all of these different orders. I became angry at him because he should have said that long before to avoid the beating. I was angry. They pulled guns. They took me to jail and scared me really bad about what would happen. I didn't ask for medical attention because I was scared, and I don't like saying that I was scared. But a night came when they put a drug addict on the bed up over me. He was having withdrawal. And in the middle of the night, he just leaned over and he just dropped a deluge of vomit all over her face, all over her body. And I
breathe, Mike.
Michael. Okay. And so I went to Carol. I went to tell a guard what I was had happened, and he told me, "Sleep in it, nigga." And he was very big, and I was. I am ashamed to say that I actually went and laid in it. Shame, shame, and
so this has caused you a lot of anguish, as that was a long time ago, huh?
It make me stand there, not take a shower. He made draw a circle in on the ground and made me stand in the circle
for 4 hours until it dried onto his body.
Till from about 6 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock. People walk by and laugh and point, but take me to court. A man who beat me up, he didn't come to court. They say he got another duty station. They only mentioned what I did as an aftermath of getting beat up. No mention that I got beat up. Found me guilty without even talking about why I was beaten. And then they said I had a contract to go to school. I was in jail for 6 weeks. School was 7 weeks. Uh, How can I be two places at one time? They said on DD 214, I got the education I contracted for, but I was mad because none of this true. They kept talking about what they want me to do, and I kept talking about what was done to me. They diagnosed me as antisocial behavior, which is a medical condition. They said I had it, but it was pre-existing condition. I had it before I got there, and so they let me go with antisocial behavior, not telling me that it was not curable, it's treatable. I didn't know that I even had a mental health problem and stuff. So I failed the marriage. Prison 14 years. They kept me in prison 7 years longer than illegal. Arrested me 4 years ago for what I did 40 years ago. Kept me in jail for 23 months and then let me go. I didn't do it.
And during the time that he was in the jail for them blaming him for something that many years ago, he suffered strokes while in jail and was not taken to the hospital for proper care of bleeding on the brain or any of that.
Federal judge had to get me out of there, but more problem. All of and then I started having a panic attack. Both brothers died.
A year ago in August, both of his brothers died of terminal illness 3 weeks apart, leaving him the only son. But he breathe, Michael.
Okay.
The thing is while he was in the U.S. Army, they kept him in jail for the educational program was to be 6 weeks or 7 weeks or something, but they kept him in jail for 6 of the weeks. When he came out for the last week where he didn't get the education he was supposed to be trained for, they put him in a job uneducated and said that he had passed through the classes. So it's been a series of unfortunate situations where he was just physically and mentally tormented for the time he was in the U.S. Army. And then they released him like on a general release.
That's such a heartbreaking story, Michael. I feel so bad that you've gone through all of that. Carol, tell us, I know Martha knows, what's happening now? You say he's homeless. You've been homeless Martha's helping him with housing and all that good stuff. Can you tell our audience about that, please?
Well, I know, Michael, I think it's been like 5 years that he has been without a foundation of being, with being homeless. He, at one point I think you were in the Salvation Army back after you were released from that last term in jail, and he went into a shelter it was for veterans though, right? Back in Ohio, or was it? So it's been like at least 5 years of just no foundation, but he's had the voucher for 3 years, and for some reason the people he's been connected with the veterans have not been successful in getting him situated.
Michael, are you service connected?
Okay. Veteran Administration, a psychologist and a psychiatrist, all say I am a service connected. I have a lawyer now. I tried to file a year after I got out of service. They 5 times and they never give me all the paperwork. But this time I have 2,000 pages, and you can look and I see I couldn't have finished school because at the same time I was in a stockade. You can look and see from a court record. I didn't face accuser. they didn't mention anything about assault, just their perspective. And nobody never gave me a chance to this day to say, but I've been saying it ever since they did it. They say lawyers that they're going to have to pay, but that is not my principal thing. I
No, no,
like
and you know what I would say that it's more about accountability. It's more about accountability that and what they owe for the way that they handled the situation completely incorrectly. There should have never been as much trauma that resulted from your experience, and for that they have to compensate you. You're not alone, unfortunately. That there's been, you know, way too many veterans who have experienced some sort of trauma that that you know they're able to get compensation for. Veterans who have experienced some sort of trauma. So this way, you know, we can also look at connecting you to an attorney to get help with the 100% service connection. And so you and I can speak offline if you need my help connecting you to more resources for free, community resources. And again, this is about accountability. This is about healing. This is about getting, you know, some of that returned back to you that was taken from you. You didn't ask for this to happen to you. This was something that unfortunately, again, happens to too many of our veterans. And so I'm really thankful that you reached out to us, that you and Carol connected with Connie and I, because we're here to help. And even if it's, you know, community programs to help with healing, you know, they offer lots of new services here, right here in LA for veterans that need the non-traditional, community-based, you know, alternative healing therapies. And I'd be happy to kind of help make sure that Carol has that information and that we continue to provide you services that you're going to need, you know, on your journey of healing. I appreciate the wisdom you've shared tonight too, also, Michael, about, you know, this faith, this greater faith that you have and this larger connection that you have about, you know, turning this violence and trauma into lessons, and how you were able to do that. And I'm in awe of your story and how you opened up with that part of how you have gotten through this. And I see that it's you know, still very painful, and I'd like to offer whatever help that we can give you in your journey to kind of continue down that path of healing. So thank you, Michael, so much for sharing.
And I want to piggyback on that too, Michael. Is that God? I want to piggyback on that. God has blessed you through Carol, the dear friend that you have, to have contacted some humanitarians such as Martha. She's amazing. She's doing this, and I think Carol knows that I'm doing this from the heart. I'm not a veteran, but Carol is an Army. Martha is an Army veteran. And it's not a joke. I know that you've gone through a lot of red tape. We don't understand the system neither because we're not with the government, but you have people that really care. And I know Martha, she's involved in this. She's helped, I don't know how many hundreds of veterans to get housing and resources. So you've connected with some people that are doing this from their heart. So we don't ever want to see you have to cry again or have to go through your senior years now. You're supposed to be enjoying life and not having
comfortable housing, resources, programs, and we can help connect you.
Correct.
Definitely.
Praise God.
So God works in mysterious ways, and hopefully this will help you as well. You know, being on the show, and we want you to come back and tell your stories, especially all your successes, because you're going to be.
Yeah, I want to hear about the Saints in the Hood. Next time we go around, we want to hear about that.
Yeah, your program. And you're going to start more programs, and you're going to be an advocate for other veterans. You're not stopping.
I want to help other veterans like me, especially those who can't speak for themselves always.
Right.
There's I believe a proper needs assessment. Some of us need you to hold a hand. You can't turn mental health on and off, but I'm mentally ill, but don't be mentally ill and go take care of this. Too hard. Too hard. World is harder to negotiate.
Right.
And they're expecting his mental illness to be selective, where you can
Right.
go through these responsibilities while you're in your impairment. And that's been a challenge for him to find the right psychologists that can help him get strategies of how to, when he's coming to an anxiety panic attack, how to calm down, how to breathe through.
Right. That is
Lady
so
throw.
sad.
They put me in jail. And a lady tried to throw urine on me. I go to jail. They do nothing to lady.
He's talking about a recent thing that happened while he was in the motel waiting for housing from the VA people that were assigned to him. An incident happened where he was trying to be kind to one of the other veterans who had a girlfriend, and they were always wanting things, and he would give them $5 or $10. And one day he offered, I got all this laundry, could you help me fold my clothes? And so they took part of his laundry to their unit, and they were supposed to fold the clothes and give them back. Well, a day later, they weren't ready. Second day, they were being wishy-washy. Third day, they said, you never gave us your clothes. And it caused him to be upset. When he went to confront these people he had been trying to help, there was an argument that started between the two men, and the girlfriend threw out of the unit they were in a bucket of urine, which is called gassing someone, which sent him into a tailspin.
It put anybody into a tailspin. I would be still spinning.
Well, when the police arrived, they took a one-sided report as if he was attacking these people rather than what the real story was. And so he's now in the Veterans Court in Long Beach dealing with that issue because the report is one-sided. It never told the truth about this woman who gassed him. But they moved him out of the motel to another motel. And then they got rid of the couple, and then the leasing people or the managers of the hotel loved Michael so much, they pleaded with the veterans to please bring him back because he wasn't the problem. We got rid of the problem, and please bring him back. So he returned to that motel and has been there until probably about 2 weeks ago, Michael. They ran out on the motel. So he's been with family and friends since then.
I'm on now.
He's on his own right now.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going
That's great. And yes, and we should hear something back by early next week on the 2 housing leads that we have, the one in the San Fernando Valley, and there's a second option that may be available in El Monte if the Sun Valley, San Fernando availability is not there. But we have 2 leads, and so that's really great. I'm hoping that we should hear something by midweek of next week.
That'd be wonderful. Martha, we can't see you. Did you lose?
Yeah, I have some connection issues right here, not a good area of service.
Okay.
Thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Connie.
So much, Ms. Consola.
Thank you, Carol.
Organization. And I love the veterans of our country, and I have service people in my family, women and men, and I'm grateful for the service that they have done for this country to protect and serve, this country. But there's unfortunate situations that are happening, and I'm grateful that you gave Michael a platform to just tell a part of his story.
He's gonna come back, huh, Michael? And you're gonna have some good stuff to tell us, and you're gonna tell us about your program that you started for the youth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
We love you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
You're a part of our team now.
I love everybody.
Praise God.
I know you're on our team now, so Carol will arrange it so you can come back and be able to share some good stories now, what you're doing now. Okay?
Stories.
Right. Martha's gonna walk you through. You're gonna come back and let us know you got your apartment. She even knows where to get fabulous furniture.
Yes, I do.
Hi, Martha. We're gonna furnish.
Yes.
And I like designing it,
I
so
am
does she.
going through. I anticipate getting all the way through on the other side of this, and then I want to turn around and go back and help somebody else come out.
That's exactly what we want to
Hallelujah.
do.
Amen. I love it.
You're part of our team now. You're going to be able to do that. We love you. Thank you so much. This is the end of this. You won't have to deal with this anymore.
Praise God.
Okay. All right. And
Oh,
you the shero over there, Carol. It all started because of you.
Thank you guys so
And
much.
Carmen
Nice to meet
Stanfield.
you.
Yeah, Carmen first. That's my girl. We go
Yeah.
back 20 some years.
Nice to
so
meet you too, Miss Martha. God bless.
Martha's
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice
We're
to
gonna
meet you, Michael.
don't leave if you don't have to. If you do, we understand. We're winding down somewhat now as well. Taylor, you got some hot news for us, huh, girlfriend?
Hot news. I can't do it like Charles. What is
Whose
he?
arm was that?
Hot with the hot
That was
sauce.
my cousin. That's my cousin. They're leaving. They came and
My goodness, he
saw
can't
my
just
mom.
choke you on stage. You gonna call the police?
Yeah, I know.
I know it was a
I
fun thing.
apologize. My apologies, but yes, love you. Bye. Okay, so I'd like to share about trauma faced by children of military families. After nearly a decade of
One moment.
war,
Michael, you have to mute yourself. We can't. There you go. Okay.
I did it. Okay. After nearly a decade of war, a growing area of research shows the negative impact on children, youth, and families of U.S. military personnel. Children of military families often experience multiple stressors before and during their parents' deployment and when they come home. Without appropriate mental health support systems, children of military personnel may be at a significant disadvantage compared to their peers in non military families. So, who are these children of military families? There are 1.76 million children and youth in military families who are impacted of, or who are impact of deployment on children's mental health. Children in military families experience high rates of mental health trauma and related problems. Military life can be a source of psychological stress for children. Multiple deployments, frequent moves, and having a parent injured or die is the reality for many children in military families. Wartime parental deployments can be one of the most stressful events of a child's life. Changes reported included changes in school performance, lashing out in anger, worrying, hiding emotions, disrespecting parents, and authority figures. Authority figures feeling
Are you
a
the
sense of
authority
loss
figure?
and symptoms. Yes, I am. Feeling a sense of loss and symptoms consistent with depression. High levels of sadness were seen in children in all age groups. Depression was seen in about 1 in 4 children. Academic problems occurred in 1 in 5 children. 37% of children with a deployed parent reported that they seriously worry about what could happen to their deployed caretaker. Parents reported that 1 in 5 children coped poorly or very poorly into deployment separation. Media coverage of the war posed a significant source, especially with this one, of stress for children and makes it much more difficult for children to cope with the parents' deployment. The length of deployment was associated with mental health problems, including depression, acting out, and externalizing behaviors. So, what service use data show? Service use data also indicates a high need for mental health services and supports among the offspring of military personnel. Outpatient mental health visits provided to children of active duty parents doubled from 1 million to 2 million between 2003 and 2008. Total days of inpatient psychiatric care for children of active duty personnel, 14 and under, increased from 35,000 in 2003 to 55,000 in 2008. 1/3 of children with a deployed parent were at high risk of psychosocial issues. Factors associated with the negative impact of deployment on children and youth include age, the mental health of the remaining parent, reintegration, and employment statuses or employment. Age as a risk factor. Current research shows that a child's response to a parent's deployment varies by age, the phase of deployment, gender, as well as other family factors. The research is mixed, but the stress of war affects children even prior to their birth. Wives of deployed personnel experience more stress, a factor known to increase the risk for medical complications of pregnancy. Children ages 3 to 5 with a deployed parent exhibited greater behavioral symptoms than did peers without a deployed parent. Children of military families ages 11 to 17 were found to have a higher prevalence of emotional and behavioral difficulties than children in the general population. Parental deployment places school-age children and adolescents at higher risk for a range of adverse mood and behavioral changes: anger, apathy, anxiety, depression, withdrawal, the decline in school performance, loss of interest in normal activities, and social isolations. For more information about this, contact National Center for Children in Poverty at Bank Street Graduate School of Education, 610 West 112th Street, New York, New York 10025, or you can email at info@nccp.org. Again, National Center for Children in Poverty, Bank Street Graduate School of Education, 610 West 112th Street, New York, New York 10025, or email at info@nccp.org.
Great information. Thank you so much. Okay, Brooke, it's on you, girlfriend, for some news.
Sure, Connie. Zoom Bingo. America's Invisible Heroes is proud to announce a monthly Zoom Bingo as a fundraiser for Operation Confidence. Each player will receive a player's card or two to download and use to play. The website generates the numbers that we will call for the game. I will run the game by taking care of the downloads, card distribution, number calling, etc. Bingo cards sell for $25. Here's what you need to know. To register, go to Operation Confidence website homepage and use PayPal to pay the $25 fee. Your confirmed registered card will be sent via email, followed by a Zoom link to participate. Zoom links will be sent to registered participants at least one day before the game. Zoom Bingo games will be held on Sundays from 4 to 5 p.m. That's Eastern Time. Zoom Bingo games will be held for about an hour because each run goes relatively quickly. And here's the great news. Winners will receive a $25 Amazon gift e-card.
Okay. And you got a little bit more information to give.
I do. I'd like to remind our listeners about our amazing advertisement rates. We have 20 and 30-second advertisement slots available. Please email info@operationconfidence.org for more information. That email address again, info@operationconfidence.org, and visit Operation Confidence's website at www.operationconfidence.org, the resource page for some amazing resources. Also, check out our online store on our website. All items sold, such as t-shirts and sportswear, 100% goes directly to Operation Confidence Housing Workforce Development Building Fund. And lastly, I'd like to remind our viewers and listeners about Amazon Smile. When making your next purchase on Amazon, please go to Amazon Smile and type in Operation Confidence in the Choose Your Organization drop box. Amazon will make a small donation to Operation Confidence.
Okay, well, as always, we're about to wind down, and we want to remind our viewers that our goal for this show, as we are every week, is to raise awareness about the urgent need for housing and resources for veterans, especially those with a disability and have experienced homelessness. So please, if you want to get involved in our grassroots effort, send us an email at info@operationconfidence.org. That's info@operationconfidence.org. And we want to thank our guests, our co-hosts, and all the guys out there in Facebook land and YouTube for tuning in to us today We'll be back next week. And thank you so much. Say goodbye, everybody. Where's Michael? Michael wants to tell everybody bye. Woo-hoo. Michael, I guess he's gone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Great.
Bye.
Martha, you want to say
Bye.
bye
Great
too?
week.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. There she goes. She gave
There's
her
Martha. Bye.
Bye, Martha.
bye-bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
Brooke. Bye, Taylor. And bye, Miss Dorsey.
Oh, bye, Carol. Bye, Martha. Bye, Taylor. Taylor, I don't think
Carol.
you've even said 2
Bye,
words. to
Dorsey.
each other.
Thank you.
Dorsey.
Thank
Hey,
you.
hey, what?
Dorsey.
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 Hey.
For more information or to be a guest on our show, email info@operationconfidence.org.